Hey, good afternoon. It's Thursday, December 7th, and I'm recording this at precisely 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is a day to remember. Because 82 years ago today, Pearl Harbor was attacked by the Japanese at 1 p.m. December 7th. Everything changed at that moment with regard to the United States. Other places around the continent, around the world, were involved in war already. But the war became real to us at that time. So many of the plans, many of the ideas, many of the aspirations that folks had, just like that, were changed. My parents had been married less than a year. And then my dad went off to war shortly after that. And was gone for 3.5 years, and then he returned. Sadly, many did not return. But this is all to remind us of God's faithfulness. None of these things are random. It's a day to remember. Remember 9/11. We talk about 9/11. But perhaps December 7th, 1941 was an even bigger day, because it literally changed everything about the way that we live and think and act. A totally different perspective. I'm going to read some words here from Isaiah, chapter 45, verses 5 through 7, as he describes how God used Cyrus, an enemy of Israel, an enemy of God, to do his will, to bring about what he wanted. So notice what he says here. He's speaking to Cyrus, but to us as well. I am the Lord, and there is no other. Apart from me, there is no God. I will strengthen you, though you have not acknowledged me, speaking to Cyrus, so that from the rising of the sun to the place of its setting, people all over the world will know that there is none besides me. God always has this bigger picture in mind. And then in verse 7, I form the light and create darkness. I bring prosperity and create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's what God does. What happened on December 7th, 1941, was not a random act. It was something that God used to bring about change in humans, not from change in God's plans, but change in people, so that we would be conscious of Him, so that we would see the limitations. Sadly, that great war did not change our thinking that we can accomplish things through our military might. I'm not down on the military, but I'm saying the military is not what makes the difference. God is the one that makes the difference. We need to turn back to Him, to trust Him, to honor Him. That's what's happening. On that day, December 7th, 1 p.m., just like now, everything appeared to be fine. Yes, there were some trouble spots, just as there's some trouble spots right now in areas like the Ukraine, areas like Taiwan, areas like South America, areas like the Middle East, and other things we may not even be thinking of that could change everything about that we go about life in literally an eye blink. But it's not random to God. What's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Taiwan, what's happening in all these places is not random to God. God has a bigger purpose in mind. He's going to save a people for Himself. That's what He's concerned about. That's His plan. And He calls you and me to get on board with that. So as we remember this day, now some 82 years later, may we realize that God is the one who does what is right and good. I form the light and create darkness. I bring prosperity and create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things. Life isn't random. Life is lived for the honor and glory of God. It's lived for that unseen reality that we cannot see. Life is more than me, the beautiful sky, the cows behind me. Life is more than where you are. There is this unseen reality that God calls us to live for. That is focused. We only see that reality when we focus on bringing honor and glory to God and know that He's the one who's going to protect us. He's the one that's going to keep us safe. And that's where our hope is. This day, as we think back on that memorial, and you can see in the image on the screen right now, you see the Arizona Memorial, and then below it, you see the outline of the battleship Arizona. A mighty ship of war sunk in the harbor there at Pearl Harbor. God is not someone who is subject to history. He creates history so that His name will be honored, so that His people will be able to bring forth His honor and His glory in the way we live our lives. That's what's important. Keep that in your mind. May I keep it in my mind? Let this day not pass without thinking that life is just about what we want. Help us to realize this life is about living for the unseen reality that is truly life. Life that is truly life, as Paul tells us. That's where our hope is. May this day of remembrance cause all of us to see where we are before God and bring honor to His name, because He is the one who is great and He is the one who is trustworthy. And that's the thought for this day. Thank you so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll get back to this marvelous story that Luke has for us about the advent of Christ. You have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.